check out the kids in this year's society,
Oh yeah.
they seem to have no purpose nor direction. When you check out the kids in this year's society,
Oh yeah.
they seem to have no purpose nor direction. They don't have respect for the elderly,
Oh yeah.
not even for their mommy nor their daddy. Gone are the days when they used to respect you.
Oh yeah.
Now they walk right by, don't even want to greet you. All they know is violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Don't care who is right or wrong, don't care who is weak or strong. Violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Hey, pam pam pio. We must try to get back to the good old days,
Oh yeah.
when grannies and teen neighbors used to see about we. We must try to get back to the good old days,
Oh yeah.
when grannies and teen neighbors used to see about we. Now is the time to stop this calamity.
Oh yeah.
The time has come to solve this situation. We don't need no more of this destruction.
Oh yeah.
What we need is peace, love, and togetherness. No more of this violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. What we need is togetherness. I say togetherness. Violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. On the streets, in the schools, in the subways, on the grounds, everywhere you go, everywhere you look, is violence. It's time that we stop all this violence and have peace and love in our hearts for each other. Let's save our children.
Violence must come to an
Remember, they are our future.
Violence
And
must come to an end.
whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Hey, pam pam pio. Hey, pam pam pio. In this world, we all live in life in fear.
Oh yeah.
The kids today behaving like they don't care. In this world today, we all living life in fear.
Oh yeah.
The kids today behaving like they don't care. Nowadays, you can walk the streets without looking back.
Oh yeah.
Always scared something bad will happen to you. Gone are the days when they used to respect you.
Oh yeah.
Now they roam the streets waiting to attack you. All they know is violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Don't care who is right or wrong. Don't care who is weak or strong. Violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Hey, pam pam pio. Hey, pam pam pio. When you check out the kids in this year's society,
Oh yeah.
they seem to have no purpose nor direction. When you check out the kids in this year's society,
Oh yeah.
they seem to have no purpose try to get back to the good old days.
Oh yeah.
When granny and teen neighbors used to see about we. We must try to get back to the good old days.
Oh yeah.
When granny and teen neighbors used to see about we. Now is the time to stop this calamity.
Oh yeah.
The time has come to solve this situation. We don't need no more of this destruction.
Oh yeah.
What we need is peace, love and togetherness. No more of this violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. What we need is togetherness. I said togetherness. Violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. On the streets, in the schools, in the subways, on the playgrounds, everywhere you go, everywhere you look, is violence. It's time that we stop all this violence and have peace and love in our hearts for each other. Let's save our children.
Violence must come to an
Remember, they are our future.
Caribbean American News Media, your Tuesday night power hour. Live every Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and GVV TV channel 115. Join your host, Garfield Oliver, as he dives deep into the latest inclusion developments, regional affairs, and global issues that matter to you. From politics to the economy, community stories to international headlines, we cover it all with real talk and real insights. Stay informed, get the facts, deep out of the conversation. Don't miss out. Set your reminders, share with your friends, and tune in. Caribbean American News Media, the news you report.
They stream the tears and the cheers so clear. From the church to the pitch, they're always near. Tie the knot or score the goal, my friend. GVD TV's got you till the end. They stream the highs, they stream the lows, from wedding vows to final shows, through life's twists and the path it bends. GVD's there, it never ends.
At the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre, pardon. We need real leadership, not deception.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
Come to an end.
Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end.
Well, a special good night to all our viewers on Caribbean American News Media Platform. I am your host, Garfield Oliver. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and we are broadcasting via Facebook, YouTube, our YouTube channel, and also we're over there on channel 115, the GVD TV, that is Flow, channel 115, St. Lucia. Greetings to all our viewers, our listeners, those who are viewing us around the world. We say greetings to you and welcome to Caribbean American News Media. I am your host, Garfield Oliver. I will take you through the night. We have a very packed program tonight. We have promos. We have a lot of discussions. We're going to go back in times. There's a whole lot happening tonight. If you see, I am well protected tonight because tonight we are going to swing our cow, okay, swing canoe, because we have a whole lot of stuff happening in the country, and somebody got to speak about it, and therefore we got to guard ourselves. And so I guard myself up, folks, and we're ready to fire in all cylinders, shed a live, tag a friend. Tonight it is also going to be open mic later on in the program. I'm going to open the mic so that the phones, so that I can listen. I want to do some listening also tonight, but I'm going on an entire 1 hour rant tonight, and then we will free it up. I will think about taking off my jacket, my fizzy jacket, of course, to ensure that I can breathe again, because trouble in arena. My God, folks, greetings again, and you are on to Caribbean American News Media Platform. We missed our Facebook viewers last Tuesday, and our GVD audience. We did get some requests there, but I do apologize, folks, and so we are back on. I was able to rig up the system a bit, but we are still working on it. I'm telling you, the system need upgrading. I believe there's some other stuff that I need to get in order to ensure that we increase the quality. I want to increase the quality to 100%, so that as we hit the airwaves, that it will bounce and through the length and breadth of the region, of the world rather. And when they see us, they must see us in quality. They must see something that will capture their attention, and they would want to stay with us. So going into this elections, we are going to be stepping up the game a little more. We did said that we were going to shut the show down, but with the many requests and personal calls that we receive here, we're going to step it up. We're hoping to bring on 2 workers at some point to help us with the show. That individual will be here in studio constantly, getting information, investigating, and just getting us the information that is necessary. So very soon we'll be putting out applications for at least 2 or so workers on the platform. We are not going to give up. We're going to see this through. The position will be temporary, of course. After the elections, we'll see where it goes, but we will be upgrading the system. We will be upgrading the broadcast. We will be firing on every cylinder going forward, and we ask for your support in sharing, in liking. It's very important, friends, that you share the platform and you like it, because what happens is that we're dealing with visibility, of course. What happens is that once Facebook sees the traffic, they take it themselves and they start sharing it, pushing it to millions of people around the world. So that's how it is. Once you like and share, we're not getting paid for like and share here on the platform. So once you share and you like it, then Facebook will see the traffic and they themselves will take it over and begin to push it even further to millions of people around the world. Sometimes you will see Caribbean American News just pop up on your Facebook feed. That means that Facebook is taking it, not me. They're taking it and they're pushing it because they're seeing quality. They're seeing something that people are interested in. So keep the conversation going. Don't just come in and just sit there in the chat. Engage, talk. Just engage, speak up, get involved. Even though you type yes, sir, or just a little heart or something, you got to get involved in this mission. I cannot do it alone, folks, all right? I have enough issues on my own to deal with, okay? So thank you so much for your commitment, your loyalty to the program. If you look at my suit, no jacket again. From now on, Kohano Cafe broadcast no bulletproof jacket. Man, wise me. Yes, friends. So I know that's what that's a funny one, ain't it? Yes. But again, thank you so much for being here with us. You know, we are going to step up on the pressure, and to step it up, we got to protect ourselves. Mani PST bolom ka mete lem when I mete bulletproof jacket because c'est ça qui ka volé ce jour ça à Saint-Lucie. Yes, c'est ça qui ka that's the trend now in the country. Yes, so my wishes next thing about I sati into the cameras. Right now, folks, we're getting ready to take off. Thank you for that water break. So to my brother in Dennery, Mr. Sutter, greetings to you. Thank you so much, sir, for being a loyal viewer of this program. And to Mr. Alan Chasney, I want to say may God bless you in your mission to better the country. We here at the platform support you. We endorse you. We stand 100% behind you. We do not stand with any new party or anything around that. We don't stand with the Labour. We don't stand with any new party. We don't stand with no independent. We are standing with the United Workers' Party, the party of choice going into these elections. The momentum is with the United Workers' Party, and I will show you why. Tonight, we are going to execute a case against the St. Lucia Labour Party. We're going to spend a lot of time looking at their records. I see Richard Frederick is back in the news and with the Prime Minister, but we're going to just fire on all cylinders tonight, all right? And let me tell you something. We are providing, and the ad is not out as yet, folks, but we are providing promotions on the platform, ads. The ads, all our ads, no matter what it is $100. $100. We got to do this, friends, because we have to maintain the system. We have a lot of stuff to maintain. It is a broadcast. I cannot invest all this time and, you know, there is no input. There is nothing, you know, to substantial to make me feel good. You know, yes, I volunteer, I build a system, of course, for this, but, you know, once I have to start putting my bulletproof jacket, then, you know what, I got to start. You know, we got to start going somewhere. Wise me. But listen, folks, $100 for ads. Send your ads over to us. You know our email address, our telephone number. Please, the business people, organizations in the country, out of the country, reach out to us. If you cannot afford the $100, don't worry about it, but just send the ads over to us in time. We will put out the bulletin so that you can get it air right here on the platform, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Yes, thank you so much for all the support. I see my brother Guy Mayers here with us, and there's a whole lot of you folks. I am seeing you, Lydia Francis, and Nicole and Jean France, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, for keeping my company. When I see you, there are certain names on the platform. When I see you, I feel good. I feel fired up. You know, I feel ready to go. Now, don't be distracted with my new suit. This is part of the network. We're not in Iraq or Baghdad, but it is what it is. So let's get to work, folks. There's a whole lot of stuff. That we go. Let's go over to Dennery South first. This is a promotion from Dennery South. This is Benson Emil and Benson Emil, the endorsed candidate for Denry South, will be in New York on August the 23rd. I know the flyer is saying August 24th, but there is some change, I believe, with the date. The poster will be updated shortly, but it is on the 23rd. It is on the 23rd of August from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. From 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I am sure that the time will be adjusted for those Seventh-day Adventists who would like to be there at this function. I am sure Benson Emil, he's a man of understanding and wisdom, would make the adjustment, to the flyer to accommodate us Seventh-day Adventists coming over. But I will be present with him. But Benson Emil, the representative, the soon-to-be representative in waiting for the Denry South community, will be in Brooklyn, New York on the 23rd of August 2025 from 5 to 7 p.m. He will be listening to the people of St. Lucia. He will be listening to the diaspora, those of you from the Denry South, will in Brooklyn, New York, and the surrounding areas. He's looking forward to meeting you. I have been in maybe a few meetings with Ben in preparation for this, and I can tell you he's excited about it. And I am excited also about this great man, Benson Emil. And by the way, I am about to call this seat even before the bell is rang. So I'm going to be calling some seats very shortly on this platform. But I will be calling some shots, some seats on this program as I gather more information and I listen to the people of Denry South. Then I believe we can make a call based on certain movements in Denry. And I keep saying to you, forget about all the noise. There's a whole lot of noise makers out there. Yeah, man, there's a whole lot of noise makers. Some of them have not been in Denry for a very long time. They don't know what is happening there. They hear people say things and they think, oh, yeah, Benson is not good. And Benson did this. Hey, forget about all the noise. It is Benson and Mr. Chasney and the others, your team, who walk you through COVID-19. Benson deserves the seat for his contribution towards St. Lucia during the COVID-19 crisis, and that's why we endorse him. That's why you should endorse him. And if you have a dead loved one, someone who died in your family during COVID-19, you need to endorse Benson. The St. Lucia Labour Party was reckless during the COVID-19. Reckless. There is no doubt about it. They were reckless, and Benson is the man. So I think you need to punish them by electing Benson as your representative. So I was speaking about the noisemakers, or about noisemakers, friends. That's all it is. The wise ones speak about empty barrels, keeping a whole lot of noise. Don't worry about that, A lot of the noise keepers, I will tell you, they're not going to vote for or against. They're not going to vote in this elections, trust me. A lot of them, they are not going to vote. It's just noise, and more noise to distract you. But for those of you who are engaged, not only talking, but those of you who are engaged, registering yourself to ensure that your names are on the ballot. You know where, not on the ballot, you know your names are on the voters list, and you know exactly where you're going to vote. Don't worry about it. You are an engaged person. Once you know where you're going to vote, and you know you're going to vote by the grace of God, and you're contributing to the discussion, you are involved, you're engaged in your community groups, your young people, the different youth groups are well oiled and functioning around the island, the youth. And by the way, you elderly folks in the United Workers' Party, you need to not step aside, but you need to promote the young generation, because these are the men and women of our tomorrows. And so we got to push them a little forward. We need to hear more of them. We need to see more of them. We need a bold movement of youth, young people, vibrant and full of energy to take this country to the next level. Under the leadership of the Honorable Alan Chasney, I am sure that our youth will be engaged and they will make a difference in this upcoming general election. So get involved. Don't just talk. Don't just simigwin. Don't just talk. Get involved, all right? Okay, so we have another promotion here. I think this is from the Consulate Office of New York.
St. Lucia, we celebrating. It's St. Lucia Day. August 16th from 12 p.m. at the St. Lucia House. We're celebrating all things Lucian. Lucian food, Lucian culture, with friends and family. So be sure to come out in large numbers and make this a great day for St. Lucia. Let us all be proud. St. Lucia's admission, only $10. Live entertainment. Listen, Papa wish he could be there with you. Come, let's celebrate St. Lucia. Leve!
That's right. That's Papa Vader, the roti man. Live it, live it, live it. But yes, please support the folks over there, the St. Lucia House. Let's not allow politics to mess up the culture of the country. We got to divorce this politics from our culture. All right? Yes, we got to do it, my friends. We got to do it. Okay, so let's get down to... Now, I played a calypso earlier, and the calypso is a very old one. I think over 20 years old, and it's from a gentleman from Dennery called Fireman Mitch. I am believing I know this guy. I believe he is related to the Joseph there in Dennery. His name is Fireman Mitch. Here is his music. Yes, so, yes, Fireman Mitch. I think he's a Shabin from Dennery, from, I think his parents live around the Pentecostal church there. I believe it is this man. He was a fireman. I'm not sure if he still is. Fireman Mitch was Calypsonian. I think so. All right? Okay, I believe so. Okay? So... we have also, now I'm trying to locate that promotion. I'm not sure if it was uploaded, and that's why I need to get the staff in place for these programs. We are missing the 17th, the Flabo program, the massive, one of the biggest rally in St. Lucia, in the history of St. Lucia. It's going to be on the 17th of August. That is this Sunday in the William Peter Boulevard. Yes, you cannot afford. Now, I am trying to get there. Now, if one of you can give me a ticket, of course, I will come, but I'm trying to clear my calendar. I believe my wife wanted me to go to Georgia and stuff like that, but I said to her, look, I might have an assignment. So, I dust out the bulletproof jacket, of course, in order to ensure that if I get the ticket, that I can head down to St. Lucia anytime later in the week. So, I am just on standby. I will pack my bag, and anytime you guys ready, send the ticket, and I'm going to be down there for a few days in the boulevard with you on the 17th of August. Let me tell you something. Sus Diu se flabo. And we will put up the poster very shortly. And this is Sunday. 17th is Sunday. All right? Sunday. You have absolutely no excuse. Brethren, let's send a signal to the St. Lucia Labour Party. You got to send a signal. You got to come out in large numbers. On Sunday, listen to me, cook your food on Saturday night. So, même si c'est découché ou ka manger, you are heading on Sunday to the boulevard. Some of you need to help, especially the men in St. Lucia. You need to go down to the boulevard to help with the arrangement, with the setup. Get involved, people. Some of you, all you do is complain on WhatsApp. You in every group complaining about the United Workers' Party. You complain about this and you complain about that. You complain about the political leader. You complain about this. You complain about me. You complain about everything, friends. You got to stop complaining and get involved. You got to get involved. So I'm asking the men, call the secretariat. Call the different branches. and find out from them, what can I do to make this event a success? Get involved. We have a country to save. Get involved, friends. This is the time. This is the moment. Get involved. Call your different community groups, flubber groups. What can I do? How can I help? Those of you with transport, once you can afford and you don't need money to put gas in it, you're well capable, you're well able, get involved. Fill up your vehicle. Don't just go by with you and yourself or your jabal. Go, get people involved. Call people, say, look, I'm taking 5 people. I'm taking 10. I'm taking 20. Go down, folks. Send that number. Send that signal. And once they give me the ticket, of course, I'll be there to document the event. Then I organize it. Look, I near Bonton. But get involved, everybody. Get involved. Stop complaining. Those in the diaspora, call your different community groups. Find out from them. Do you need $100? Do you need $200? Do you need some support for transportation? I'm going to sponsor 1 vehicle. It's not too late to get involved. It's not too late to get involved. So if you guys are complaining, and that's all you're complaining, we will just not listen to your complaints because you have sense. You're making sense with your complaints. You got to act, okay? So, Mama have it next time. So, but the 17th, you got to get involved, okay? Get involved. And by the way, for those of you who are in the diaspora and you cannot travel, you don't think you're going to travel because you're afraid with the whole immigration laws and everything else, you know, nothing a lot to be afraid of. But what I'm saying, if you can't go down, you can engage from here. You can engage from here. It is not just enough to be on your cell phone looking for every flubber live and cuss people off under those lives. Call Denry. Call Denry North, Denry South in St. Lucia. Call Soufrière, Castries. Some of these communities need your help. They need your effort. And even $50, you know, can do a lot for these communities. Whether it's balloons or paint or flags, $50 can do a lot. So get involved, flubbers. Come on, get in gear, man. Zola khodi na create pair les osav. I swear. I will pull a pay on y'all. I tell y'all, I come here for trouble because we're going, all right? Okay, so we have some issues here, folks. We have a lot of, and by the way, congratulations to Tommy, who did some community work last weekend, I believe it is. Kudos to you. I really believe that is needed. We need more men. You know, that's what John Compton used to do. He was not all this nice perfume-smelling guy. He was always with a cutlass, a water boots, and some banana stain on him. Don't think his fingers were always pretty like Peon. No, his fingers had banana stains and all kind of stuff. And I'm sure John Compton did a lot of government business under his banana field. Yeah, man, that's what the United Workers' Party is about. They are workers, not talkers, not noise makers. Anyway, I know how they then. Shed alive, tiger friend. Shed alive and tiger friend. So I want to go to the situation of crime in St. Lucia. Now we have a problem. And I want to say to the Labour Party supporters on the different social media platforms that if you love your country, the nastiness and all the foolishness you're exciting yourself with on different platforms, on the people's life, the insults, you would stop it. Because our young people are dying. People are afraid. Vehicles are getting shot up in broad daylight. Evidence is gone missing at your police stations. Your government minister says to you, I have files from the police and I this and I that. Do you understand your institutions of government are compromised? I'm going to say that to you. The institutions in your country, it is compromised. And it is compromised by this St. Lucia Labour Party. Now I know what you're going to say. Well, you're biased because you did. No. I am no bias about nothing. This is the truth. All police involved cases have gone cold. Documents just disappears. And you're telling me that your institution of your government of your country is in place? You heard what Norbert in Miku said last evening, that his cousin, the crime prevention minister, is not all what he said he is. He's as worse as any of those seasoned SLPs. I try to hint you all, based on some evidence that I got here in our studio, that them fellas are not all that they seem. Don't mind Mr. Norbert in Miku. Victimization. And they'd say to you, well, the Belrose Doctrine and the Belrose. I dare them to bring up Belrose Doctrine again, because you guys are the champion of whatever doctrine you're talking about. Miku North, Miku, where the Norbertses are, is a clear indication. You guys wanted to close down, based on what Norbert is saying, Elisha is saying, you guys wanted to close down laundry only because there's a UWP working over there. You guys lost your mind when Elisha gave the contract to cook food for the vendors. You almost lost your mind to fix the roads, the roads, feeder roads in farming areas. You said, well, people don't see those things, man. Don't forget about that. Don't forget about those roads. People don't eat those roads. They eat the other roads. They only eat the main roads. Huh? Come on, let's talk, Lucians. Don't act like you don't know what I'm saying. It's true. Bunch of hypocrites. Well, I'm the right one to call out the hypocrisy. You know, I'm well dressed for it. And I'll show you the hypocrisy of those hypocrites. The hypocrisy of them. Yeah? So let's go to Prime Minister Peer. But before we go to Peer, I would prefer us to let's deal with a guy that I believe should be called back into service in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And that is a gentleman called, I wrote his name down, by the name of Milton Daisy. Was he the commissioner at one point or acting commissioner? Milton Daisy. So let's teach tonight the Labour Party and Mr. Pear how to manage crime, how he as Minister of National Security should be coordinating with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Not saying to them, do your thing, I don't need to get involved, I'm not a police, you do your thing. I will show you how the United Workers' Party cooperate with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I'm going to show you. So let's go to a clip from Mr. Milton Daisy, who I believe should be called back into service.
Issues that we need to take care of so that we could see a change in St. Lucia. However, we, the police, we are committed into doing it, and I know that the government, the Prime Minister is consulting with me, I'm consulting with him all the time, and then what are the resources needed. And there are issues that we need to take care of so that we could see a change in St. Lucia. However, we, the police, we are committed into doing it, and I know that the government, the Prime Minister is consulting with me. I'm consulting with him all the time, and then what are the resources needed, and there are issues that we need to take care of so that we could see a change in St. Lucia. However, we, the police, we are committed into doing it, and I know that the government, the Prime Minister is consulting with me. I'm consulting with him all the time, and then what are the resources needed, and there are issues that we need to take care of so that we could see a change in St. Lucia. However,
all right, so there you have it, Mr. Daisy, if I am correct, indicating to you that there was cooperation between him and the police and the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security in tackling and dealing with the crime situation. All right, so let's just go on to, I believe this is Mr. Pear, is it? Let's just go over to that clip now.
And the Alan Shastney government's record on national security. The fifth-term parliamentarian, who has often cautioned against politicising the wedge issue of crime, is alarmed by the recent upshot in homicides. He chided the incumbent for failing to fulfil his 2016 campaign promise to keep St. Lucians safe.
The government has failed in its promise to reduce crime. The murder rate is climbing, with 4 murders in the last 2 weeks, bringing the total to the year to 42. So much for Prime Minister.
All right, so let's just hold Mr. Pear. Hold Mr. Pear, please. Hold. So there is Mr. Pear in opposition. That's Prime Minister Pear. This is opposition Pear. Not Prime Minister Pear as yet. Opposition Pear chastising the United Workers' Party, Alan Shastney administration, of having 33 murders for the year.
That's a very good question. But what I like the best is how we intend to address it.
That's the hypocrisy laugh, we call it. So here is Mr. Hypocrisy Laugh in opposition. A lot of pun intended, of course. Concern about the rise in crime. 33. For the past few years under this Prime Minister, we have had 70, and it looks like we are heading into another 70 because people are dropping like flies right now as a result of violence. Yeah? So we're going to go back again and listen to the then opposition leader, now Prime Minister, who is presiding over a crime crisis for the past few years. Let's go back and remind Mr. Pear of himself in opposition. Go ahead, sir.
Who promised to do with crime what he claimed his predecessor could not do.
During a wide-ranging press conference on Thursday, the opposition leader sought to articulate what an SLP administration would do to mitigate crime and violence. Pierre, who reiterated the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party's People First mantra, warns that the problem of crime is complex and requires investments in the youth, social programs and education. Despite the pandemic lockdown this year, the island has been rocked by a spate of gun violence, which has claimed a number of lives. While he does not profess to have all the answers, Pierre believes addressing social inequality, especially in working class and underserved communities, could prove crucial in reducing crime rates.
What the Labour Party is saying is that the crime situation is diverse. There is not one policy. There is not one policy that any government can take to reduce them.
So right there in opposition, opposition pair, now Prime Minister pair, have all the answers. While he's saying he don't have all the answers, he have the answers. Of course, he's telling you So, is a whatever it is, approach, the youth and blah, blah, blah. And so he tried the youth economy. And that was one of the solution, of course. Engagement of the youth economy, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? For the past few years, 70. And by the way, the 70 that they're reporting, I suspect from my end that it is far more than 70 people who lost their lives through violence. And I'm not saying that Pear goes out there and tell people to go and kill anybody. But the buck stops with him. Nobody else but him.
That's a very good question. But the one I like the best is how we intend to address it.
So he laughs at how to address it. Yeah? Well, we listen, folks. Now, this is a clip from HTS television. And I'm staying quiet so that you can think about this prime minister. You can understand how he operates. In opposition, seems like he's better in opposition. Maybe we need to give him an opposition job instead of a prime minister job. And I think that's what he's going to get very soon. Because he operates better there. He has all the answers. And he's very clear with his answers in opposition. So I believe we need to hire him as an opposition leader. Because the prime minister thing seems to be a little too much for him. You believe so, St. Lucians? Listen to...
Multifaceted set of policies. One of them, we believe that we must stop the alienation of the so-called inner cities by creating opportunity for the people in these areas. Number two, we really believe that our education system must be revolutionized.
The Castries East MP warns that the national security apparatus, which retains civilian control over a professional and apolitical police force, must not subvert the chain of command. Moreover, equality under the law, according to Pierre, should be a feature of the remedial process.
Thirdly, we believe our youth ought to be engaged in our novel youth economy. Fourthly, we believe that there should be no political interference in the police force. It's important that the police remain completely apolitical, and we will insist, and our policies will show that there shall be no political interference in the police force. The idea of...
Now, I'll tell you, the confusion with Pear, with his no political interference in the police force, I think he's a bit confused with what he's saying there. He's taken his leadership of the security of the nation as interference, involvement. You are involved, sir. The police department is under your control. You are the prime minister. You are the minister of national security. You are responsible for the security of the country. One of the key individuals that should be sitting with you on cabinet briefings on Mondays is the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police should be sitting with you to update you on security matters every Monday morning. So it sounds to me like you don't know your assignment, or maybe it is not something that have been practiced in the country, where the national security minister at cabinet sits with the Commissioner of Police to get a brief as to what is happening when it comes to national security in the country. So at that briefing, Mr. Prime Minister, I'm just giving you some advice openly, the Prime Minister is one who must be present at that cabinet meeting. Two, he must give you an update. Mr. Prime Minister, we had 5 shootings this weekend. We have 2 individuals who were dead at this time. Johnny, Teresa, blah, blah, blah. We have 4 investigators on these incidents. One was taken to the hospital blah, blah, blah. He died at the hospital. This is what we're doing to deal. We have increased police presence in this community. We're hoping to crack this case in reasonable time. We have some intelligence, we have some information, and we're hoping to give you an update on these matters as the investigations continue. And by the way, Mr. Prime Minister, we just lost all evidence that we had pertaining to some police involvement situations. The gentleman, Shakaden, guy who died in our custody, and we also have what's her name? I forgot the young lady's name who got killed, shot in the house. We lost all the evidence, Mr. Prime Minister, and this morning I suspended the individuals who are responsible for the evidence. We have replaced them with some other officers pending investigations. We are really concerned about this, Mr. Prime Minister. It's a bridge of security for us. We also have a dead dog, got killed. Based on what we're hearing, based on our evidence, it looks like the dog was killed by someone internal. It was not an external thing, you know. So, Mr. Prime Minister, we're going to address the nation, the people of St. Lucia at a press conference today, and these are the things that are going to come out of that.
That's a very good question. But what I like the best is how you intend to address it. Attending to address it is not in my it's not in my
So you'd expect that you would have those type of engagements every Monday morning instead of talking about Alan Shastney as your opening segment on your agenda. Is Alan Shastney and Guy Joseph and the Sunday Live, instead of dealing with the security of the nation. So that is a concern for me. If that is not happening, Mr. Prime Minister, then this thing is way over you. I can tell you that. Way, way, way over you, sir.
Police, my police. That will not happen under my government. And finally, we will exercise justice. The justice system must seem to be the same equality of justice for the entire population.
Well, it is this same Prime Minister, folks, as soon as he got elected, went to the courts and on his way out said, I came to ensure justice. That's the only thing that it seems like he will interfere in when one of his ministers, like Mr. Hilaire, have a real issue, not a fake issue. It's in the courts up to today, you know, has a real issue with basically the finance of the nation. And so the Prime Minister went to ensure justice was served. He and his cabinet of cabals went over there to ensure justice with the Speaker of the House, of course. They said avocati papier. Well, I don't know. That's not me. That's what I heard, you know, through the grapevine, of course. But I will not interfere, but I will interfere with the law. And then he says, well, that's not interfering. So
should be above the law. These are the broad policies on which a government, the party government, will handle crime.
The latest St. Lucia National Crime and Victimization Survey by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates the total cost of crime to St. Lucia between September 2018 and August 2019 at $64.083 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. Pierre, who has staked his claim as an anti-corruption crusader, has also pledged to standardize, strengthened and codified ethical compliance with applicable laws and regulations to weed out public misconduct. Colby DeVoe, HTS News, folks.
Yes, that is HTS News, folks. So Prime Minister pledged to weed it out by weeding it in. Weed it out by weeding it in. And we'll explain the whole weeding it in and the strong stand on corruption and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, most of you would have heard about the CIP, the missing documents of the police force, GPH deal, the airport situation, the hospital, Diamall, halls of justice, Banan's Land. Oops. The list goes on and on and on, my fellow St. So let's go over to Mr. Alva Baptiste, or Baptiste. Alva is going to speak to us on a Labour Party's platform.
As a result of all the foolishness of this government, St. Lucia is fast becoming a place where they cannot govern anymore. There is lawlessness that we have never seen before. As a result of all the foolishness of this government,
That's
St.
a very good
Lucia
question.
is
But
fast becoming a place where they cannot govern anymore.
And usher him out.
There is lawlessness that we have
his
never
microphone.
seen before.
And usher him out.
As a result of all the foolishness.
Take
of
his
this
microphone.
St.
and
Lucia
usher-
is
Now,
fast
let's just
becoming
allow
a
him to
place
speak, of course.
where they cannot govern anymore.
that's a very good question. But the one I like the
There
best
is
is how you
lawlessness
intend
that we
to
have
address it.
never seen before. As a result of all the
Attending to
foolishness
justice
of
is
this
not in my
St.
it's
Lucia
not in
is fast
in
becoming a
my
place where they cannot govern anymore. There is lawlessness that we have never seen before.
There was lawlessness that was never seen before. So let's just take it easy with the lawlessness here, Mr. Alva. So, what are you seeing now, Mr. Alva? Excuse me? What are you seeing here, Mr. Alva?
One pass up.
Mr. GDP, come on, talk to me. Lawlessness? Do you know what is lawlessness? The abuse of our citizens on television and radio on a daily basis. You also know what is lawlessness? Vehicles being shut up all over the place. Deaf, pregnant women getting killed with their babies. A young lady who had to go to court the following day being shut down without any protection. Vehicles in January line up on the streets with busted tires. You want to talk about lawlessness? Lack of communications from government to the... Let me tell you something. You might be presiding over a crime zone yourself, as far as I'm concerned, in the country. Mr. Alva. CIP. Lawlessness like you have never seen before. As far as I'm concerned, the GPH deal is lawlessness. Do you know what those vendors in Castries had to go through, the humiliation? Do you remember when one of the UWP guy died some time ago, and your minister decided to take that family through, drag them through their time of grieving, exposing private documents, and brought one of the workers of the Department of Housing called them on his show to embarrass the family, to expose them? Is that lawlessness? And by the way, we'll get into the Richard Frederick situation, because you told us that Richard Frederick was lawless. You guys told us that. We were defending him while you told us that Richard Frederick was the worst of the worst. You want to talk about lawlessness, sir? Cause of justice. That's lawlessness as far as I'm concerned. Huh? But let's go on. But I'm going to give Mr. Alva a second chance to go at it.
As a result of all the foolishness of this government, St. Lucia is fast becoming a place where they cannot govern anymore.
Well, it was becoming, but now it is, Mr. Alva. It was becoming, but it is now. And guess who is in power? Your administration. Yeah? So, just step on the side for a minute. We'll get back to you, Alva, Mr. GDP, or whatever it is you call it. But we'll be right back. Let's go to Prime Minister in opposition. And let's hope that we don't have to laugh or anything at our Prime Minister, of course, because sometimes he kind of make you want to chuckle, oops, or laugh.
One of the challenges facing our country is the confidence in the rule of law. The rule of law, how a country governs, sets the tone and tenure for the entire society. A corrupt government will beget a corrupt society. We must ensure that justice prevails for all citizens and that there are consequences for wrongdoing. Corruption must not be tolerated from anyone. One of the challenges facing our country is the confidence in the rule of law. The rule of law, how a country governs, sets the tone and tenure for the entire society. A corrupt...
Yeah. Just hold that thought, Prime Minister. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought,
In
sir.
addition, decriminalize COVID protocol breaches. Persons who have been previously arrested, charged, and convicted for COVID-19 protocol breaches will have their records expunged.
So hold a minute, Prime Minister. Beaches, I don't know what that is, but I don't know what you just said there. But you said you were going to free up those who broke the law during COVID-19. You're going to free them up because some injustice was done to them by the Alan Shastney administration. What, they went on the beach? What beach did they bridge? So let's talk about law and order in a country. Because I'm very confused with your rhetoric, of course, Mr. Prime Minister. Very confused. Do we want to uphold the law in the country? Do you really want to deal with corruption in the country? Yes, sir, I'm talking to you.
That's a very good question. But the one I like the best is how we intend to address it.
So I knew you were going to see me going there, but it's all right. But so let's get back to the issue, Mr. Prime Minister. So those guys, by the way, who were charged by the wardens or the Royal St. Lucia Police Force violated the law. They were not to be out there doing what they were doing during COVID-19. That was the law. You promised them in opposition that you are going to free them up because they did nothing. A matter of fact, the person that should be arrested is Alan Shastney and his administration, because you demonized the COVID-19 wardens. You demonize the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and then you come and say, I love them, I did more for them. No, you put them in a lot of trouble. A matter of fact, you put the nation in a lot of trouble by inserting yourself into law and order in the country. You inserted yourself in a way that you should not have done. They did the crime. Therefore, they should have done the time. You, sir, started an era in St. Lucia of lawlessness as far as I'm concerned.
In addition, decriminalize COVID protocol breaches. Persons who have been previously arrested, charged, and convicted for COVID-19 protocol breaches will have their records expunged.
Now, you heard what he said. They bridged the protocols. They committed an offense. They committed an offense. They were not innocent. And so what you did there, Mr. Prime Minister, is that you spat in the face of the law. You insulted the COVID wardens. You insulted the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. That's what you did. And maybe the country is paying for this nastiness that should not have happened in the first place. maybe, sir, you got to do some reflection on your actions. You demonized Mr. Chastney and the COVID wardens, and you freed the individuals who you said breached the law. That was not good. You send the wrong signal from day one. Wrong signal. You should have upheld the law. You should have stayed out of that and allow the law, the legal people to deal with that. But you inserted yourself and you make those people who breached the law believed that they did nothing wrong and that the government just wanted to get at them. This, Mr. Prime Minister, was a political move by you, because many of your people were out there during COVID-19 breaking the law. This had nothing to do with majority of St. Lucians and the safety of St. Lucians. This had to do with your campaign. What you did during your campaign that caused 400 people their lives. This was not about injustice, because there was none. There were laws in place. You protested against those laws to protect the citizens of the country. And now you're talking about upholding the law. You're talking about law and justice at the same time. When you were not a champion for law and justice, you broke protocol laws, you and your campaign. You expose innocent families. Mr. Shasna and his team and the COVID-19 wardens were not the criminals. They were not the violators of the laws. You and your campaign were the ones who were guilty. And so you went in and you gave them a clean slate. That was political. Clear political. And I would love for you to explain to us why you did it. Was the government unjust? Did the government breach the Constitution? Violated the constitutional rights of citizens? Then it should have been challenged in the court. Was it challenged in the court? It is okay to challenge it in the court. But what you did there was a crying shame that caused St. Lucians their life. And you know what you did? You reward those same people who helped to spread COVID. You rewarded them by expunging their records. You rewarded them for spreading COVID throughout the length and breadth of the country. And you turn around and blame the Alan Shastney administration. That is no joke. That's no joke. And I take that very seriously. And St. Lucians need to remember this action by you. You rewarded the wrong people, those who had violated and caused the demise of many other St. Lucians through the spread of COVID-19. So I'm going to get off of this just so that I would not get too upset with you. And I'm going to show you another thing that you did during your election. I'm just reminding you tonight, sir. You made St. Lucians believe also that Alan Shastney and his administration, the United Bucus Party administration, had violated the Constitution of St. Lucia by calling the elections on a different date that you thought they would have called it. You told St. Lucians, you and your people told St. Lucians that Alan Shastney went into his 6th term and something was wrong with that. You did that, sir. And you know what you did? After playing that game with St. Lucians, here is what you said after.
Again, the last elections were held on the 6th of June 2016. Convention dictates election I held 5 years later. So 6th of June 2021, supposed to have elections.
Okay.
But they're doing nothing wrong constitutionally. I want to make it clear. They're doing nothing wrong constitutionally, but the Constitution says that the elections have to be held, can be held up to 3 months after the first sitting of Parliament.
So you see what they're doing? And folks, you got to pay attention to this nastiness. You got to pay attention to this nastiness. You got to remember these nastiness. Philip J. said here in this interview that the United Workers' Party, Alan Shastney administration did nothing wrong. He said they did nothing wrong. Over and over, we heard in Parliament recently, they jabbing Mr. Shastney as having 6 terms. Did not want to call the elections because he was hungry for power. Folks, may I remind you that during that time, you had COVID-19. And so Mr. Prime Minister, with his love for the country, wanted to ensure that it was safe, that the electoral department and the different community organizations and political parties would have been able, in a very sterilized and safe environment, conduct the elections in a secure manner. You understand what is happening here? So it was not Mr. Shastney's intention to go into to go over anything. He did not want to violate any constitution. And for me, if he did not violate the constitution, what was your problem? Were you so hungry for power that you don't mind 400 people losing their lives? Or 600 or 1,000? What was the real problem? St. Lucians, I want you to use your brain. Mwen vle zo servi lide zo. So, Monsieur Prime Minister ka di apweza that gouvernement Alan Shastney, UWP, pa fin anye ki te wrong. Tout sa yo te fe, it was within the boundaries of the Constitution of St. Lucia. My question again, Mr. Pear, what and why are you saying this now? Why were you saying it here? But in the House, you have your cabals making St. Lucians believe that Mr. Shastney wanted to go for another year in bridge of some law. Now, I'll tell you something about convention and constitution. You can change convention and you can set new conventions. And by the way, the Labour Party have set a whole lot of it. Lack of communication, that's a new convention. Is that a good convention? No, it's not. They have set another new convention, insult the citizens on national television and radio. That's a new convention for them. Is it? Yes, it is. So here's this. Let's just slow it down a bit so that tout ces jeux simply si ça comprendre. Ça m'a dit elsewhere. For me, I'll tell you the truth. Once the constitution of the nation is not being sidebarred or overstepped, or people are going over the constitution or not adding air to the constitution of the country, then I have a problem. Because the constitution is there to keep governments in check and to keep people in check. That's what laws are there for, to keep us, in a certain way, you know, keep us from violating each other, of course. So once governments start to mess and tamper with the Constitution, then we have a big problem. But convention, you can't take convention to court and win. I'm sure you can't. Some lawyer will have to guide me on this one. I'll drink water on that one because I'm not a lawyer, papier. There's a lawyer papier in the House. That's not me, of course. So let's go back to the whole convention. And Mr. Chesney have challenged conventions with constitution, and he won. It was this same lawyer papier, of course, in the House, the House, telling Chesney a host of the stuff that he has no control over. The speaker, I will take your salary, I wouldn't pay you. Who are you? You're the one paying the opposition? And that's not even a convention. Is it constitutional correct? No, you can't touch his salary. That's not your place. He don't answer to you. He wasn't appointed by you. You're out of order. And he challenged you guys over. You want to? Where is the privilege committee you've dragged him to? What's about that? We heard nothing about the privilege committee. You remember they wanted to drag Alan Chesney, the privilege committee, and blah, blah, blah. And Chesney, drag it in court. And you know what he did? He pulled the Constitution in their face. None of them could have danced to that music. So Mr. Prime Minister made you guys believe that the opposition leader was doing so much against the Constitution, and they were lying to you, St. Lucians. You take a mutty by zo. Now, you can't believe me. I'm telling you the truth. You can't mutty by zo. You take a mutty. He's the only government. He's the only government that did 6 years. You heard him, 6 years.
That's a very good question. But the one I like the best is how we intend to address it.
Well, guess what? We're going to address it at the polls. That's where we're going to address it, at the polls. Because you deceive the people of the country. And I'm going to play it again one more time.
Again, the last elections were held on the 6th of June 2016. Convention dictates, election I held 5 years later. So 6th of June 2021, supposed to have election.
Now, for those of you who say, Monarchy Park could pona shy bagay, of course, Leutan convention say a bagay that you just got fair over a period of years. You know, it's just things that they practice doing. Like you get up in the morning and you wash your face. Almost like, not routine. Routine is something you do very often over and over and over again. But convention is a way of doing things. You know, it might not violate the law. It can violate the law sometimes. It can violate the Constitution. If you put the convention against the Constitution, then most of the times it cannot stand the actions. The convention actions cannot stand against constitutional requirement. Presidents. That's what we're accustomed of doing. That's what he's saying. This is what we're accustomed of doing all the time. Calling the elections on this date. That's not constitutional. Constitutional says you can go up to 6, I believe it was 6 months or something like that, or 3 months after the date. That's the Constitution. But convention say, well, we're accustomed of doing it that way. All parties have been doing it throughout the years. Comme là, nous avons fait comment? Vous savez, à nous pas toucher, quitter comment? C'est pareil, nous avons fait all the time. Vous checkly? Yeah. I don't know if I can use this term because it is some of you convention zora vole kabrit moun. Should I call it a convention? Is it just a habit over and over? That's what the family have been doing all the time. It's a convention in the family. That's what we do. We got to keep it up. If you don't volley a cabrit or a mouton, then you're not following the convention. Yeah? Well, I just hope I was able to explain it.
That's a very good question. But what I like the best is how you intend to address it. Intending to address it is not.
So, let's go on. So now, we are going to deal with another matter. And this is Prime Minister Philip J. Again, and I believe this is the CIP, not the CIP, the Richard Frederick situation. I want us to visit the whole Richard Frederick situation, and we got to close the case on that tonight because the SLP wants us to think differently outside of what they told us. So we'll have to correct that for a while, okay? Let's go to the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, and this is a clip from Hot 7 TV News. Hot 7 TV News. Hold a minute. Hot 7 is not hot in. Hold a minute. Let's see what's going on there.
Richard Fredericks was the same Richard Fredericks that was there when the United Workers' Party were in government. The same Richard Fredericks. There is no other Richard Fredericks. Richard Fredericks was the same, and I repeat myself, it was the same Richard Fredericks who was a minister in the United Workers' Party government.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has responded to the ongoing controversy surrounding Housing Minister Richard Frederick, following calls from the United Workers' Party for the matter to be addressed with urgency. The UWP has pointed to allegations to have recently surfaced regarding the minister, involving him taking part in criminal activity and his statements made on his weekly talk show. The UWP states that these matters insisting they warrant decisive action. In defending Frederick, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre recalled that these allegations have been there since when the minister first entered politics in 2002.
Same Richard Fredericks, who was on his show every night when the United Workers' Party were in power. The same Richard Fredericks. The same one. There's no change. At that time, the United Workers' Party and its leader never saw it fit to take any action against Richard Fredericks.
The PM remarked that had the United Workers' Party deemed the issue worthy of intervention, it would have acted accordingly. He further observed that the minister in question contests the election as an independent candidate and secured his seat through a legitimate and fair election process.
If the United Workers' Party saw it not necessary or not convenient for them to accept Richard Fredericks or to have take any action against him, Richard Fredericks ran elections as an independent and he won. Richard Fredericks is a member of the cabinet of the St. Lucia Labour Party. This is a fact. I'm saying to you, if at that time the United Workers' Party found nothing to take action against Richard Fredericks, this time I have seen nothing to take action against Richard Fredericks.
The Prime Minister remarked that the United Workers' Party had ample opportunity to address the matter, but failed to act. For Hot 7 TV News, Josiah Bissett reporting.
Okay, so we got to take care of this situation right away, folks. So let's clear the record. The St. Lucia Labour Party told us, the United Workers' Party, to fire Richard Frederick because he's compromised. Yes, they did. They told us all the bad things about Mr. Frederick. They did. Yes, they did. And I will show you tonight that they did, of course. So for the Prime Minister to say, well, it's the same Richard, we know he's the same Richard Frederick and has not changed. So we're happy that you could have confirmed that the gentleman is the same, et qu'il peut changer. Men bet, men well. Well, don't say I call him an animal. That's how you St. Lucian do it with your nasty double standard. Look, he called Richard Frederick a bet. Shut your mouth with your false and fake outrage. You called him worse than what I just said there. You guys. Don't pretend, oh, we love him so much. No, you don't. And I will show you why you guys need to repent. And you guys need to apologize openly to him. If the Prime Minister is saying, I don't see anything. Well, if you don't see anything, sir, apologize to him publicly. Can you do that?
That's a very good question. But what I like the best is how you intend to address it.
Well, I know you're not going to address it. You're going to see me win on that. So you said it's the same, Richard Frederick, and all of us who are listening to you, we totally agree with you. That's okay. You settle that one. We accept it. You said it's the same. Nothing changed. Thank you. Mr. Pear, you got to be careful what you say, sir. You got to be careful. Okay, so you said that we did not do anything about it. Sir, that's a lie. Richard Frederick himself stepped down, and two, he was fired from the United Workers' Party. Removed. That's why you think he's calling Shastney's name every 2 seconds. Anywhere he is. Shastney, Shastney, Shastney. Why do you think that Shastney's name is the most popular name on the internet worldwide? Who you think made it possible? Buddy. Shastney, 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 Shastney. Is that true? Yes, it is. He says Shastney maybe 3,000 times in a second because it was Shastney and not King who took the necessary steps to right the wrong. You told us he was wrong, and we right the wrong that you told us was wrong. So don't pretend now that you're all sanctimonious but I don't understand the problem. I mean, he was with you all. It's the same, Richard. Nothing changed. I don't know. He's a part of my cabinet. Yes, it's the same one that you told us, folks. This guy told us. Anyway, let's go to another clip and we will get more of the juicy story from Mr. King now.
The Constitution of St. Lucia do not make it mandatory and does not request that any member seeking a seat in the Parliament must have a visa.
This is the statement which triggered a response from rival SLP candidate Dr. Ubaldus Raymond. Dr. Raymond accused Prime Minister King of trivializing the Richard Frederick visa revocation issue. The big issue at stake as far as Dr. Raymond is concerned is how this visa revocation will impact on St. Lucia as a whole in terms of its future relationship with the United States.
I, like many, watched the political masquerade this past Sunday and was truly taken aback when I heard Prime Minister regurgitate the same senseless statements first uttered by Frederick's party operatives. You do not require a visa to be a parliamentary representative. As if this was the point. For those who seek to promote Prime Minister King's irresponsible rhetoric on such an important matter, let me make a few things clear. 1. As declared on the U.S. State Department website, revocation of a diplomatic visa is considered by America itself to be an action that it does not take lightly.
Dr. Raymond also accused the Prime Minister and Mr. Frederick of misleading the public in claiming that they did not have any prior knowledge of the visa revocation. According to reports cited by the SLP, both Mr. Frederick and the Prime Minister were notified of the revocation since August 5th this year. Dr. Raymond fears that some St. Lucia nationals seeking a U.S. visa during the apparent 6 weeks of silence may have suffered as a result.
How many nationals will continue to fall victim to a UWP-created scandal just so Prime Minister King can execute some selfish political strategy? I am not comfortable with Richard Frederick's reputation tainting my own. I am not comfortable with Richard Frederick's reputation tainting the reputation of our people. And I am not comfortable with Richard Frederick's reputation tainting the reputation of my country, St. Lucia.
Dr. Raymond says he's not comfortable with Mr. Frederick's reputation tainting that of the country. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas reporting.
Well, that is a clip from DBS Don Nicholas. There you. What say you, people? St. Lucia Labour Party. Yeah? He's a stain on St. Lucia. And when you look at King was very weak leader when you look at him, you know. And I understand that you got to protect your own, but in a matter like that, friends, you got to stand up. You got to speak up. You got to take the right actions. Yeah? And for Mr. King, it was not about people's visa. You don't need a visa to be in government. It was not that. You got to now go to the reason why the United States would cancel or revoke a diplomatic visa. They don't just do that because they want to do it. You guys told us that. So, but for King, what he was saying there, I totally didn't support it, that you don't need a visa to serve in government. No. If the visa was revoked, you want to find out why was it revoked. And whether you're UWP or SLP, you got to agree that you would want to know, the people of St. Lucia should be told that here is the reason why. 1, 1, 1, and 1. Yeah? But don't come and tell the people of St. Lucia, Mr. King, it looked like you were spineless for a long time, sir. It looked like you were because that statement should not have been, as far as I'm concerned. And that's my opinion, okay?
For his resignation for over a week, Housing Minister Richard Frederick has finally quit. He made the announcement in a recorded statement on Sunday night.
In the meantime, and to spare my colleagues further distractions from the important work on behalf of the nation during these especially difficult times, I have chosen to reconsider my earlier public statement and resign from the Cabinet of Ministers effective Monday, 26 September 2011.
But the former cabinet member would not go down without swinging. Frederick took a number of swipes at the opposition, who he continues to blame for the latest controversy. Without mentioning their names, he accused former Attorney General Philip Lacobiniere and former Senate President Hilford de Turville of a campaign to destroy his reputation.
It is no secret that from the moment I declared my candidacy in 2006 in the Castries Central by-election, I was vilified. Leading members of the opposition took vicious aim at me from their political platforms and from official perches hidden from public view.
Reports indicate that Prime Minister Stephen King had given Frederick until Monday to tender his resignation after a number of his cabinet colleagues expressed concern about the ongoing embarrassment to the government.
I will survive with the support of the people of Castries Central. I am still at a loss, though, as to the reasons for the revocation of my visas, although I believe that what done in the dark will one day be preached from the housetops.
Frederick promised to continue representing Castries Central as long as electors wanted him to, and expressed unwavering support for the Stephen King government and the United Workers' Party. Reporting for the DBS News World, I am Clinton Reynolds.
So that was Clinton Reynolds there, my friends. Wow, 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 wow. What say you, St. Lucian? What say you? Let's go quickly. We're moving on. We are moving on quickly.
Rufus Bousquet says when Richard Frederick's visas were revoked, some persons saw it as a political tool. But he says it's bigger than that and has to do with nationalism, respect for St. Lucians, and due process. And in the case of the unnamed senior police officer whose U.S. visa has also been revoked, Mr. Bousquet feels there should also be due process and disclosure so St. Lucia knows what it's dealing with.
At this point in time, we really don't know who we're dealing with. We don't know what that person is supposedly guilty of. I have my suspicions. You know, I believe, based on a meeting that I had with the embassy officials prior to anybody's visa being revoked, there seemed to be a tremendous amount of interest in extrajudicial killings. And I suspect that somehow or the other persons have gone to the United States Embassy and have put things in the minds of officials in the United States Embassy with respect to what has been going on in St. Lucia.
According to Mr. Bousquet, when the former administration clamped down on violent crime, it may have been put over to the Americans as something that was being done to hide the secrets of certain politicians. A total of 11 criminal suspects were fatally shot by police last year, including 5 who were killed in a single incident in Vieux Fort.
I think this message was communicated to the United States Embassy, and I think as a result of that, they tied in certain police officers, they tied in certain politicians, and I suspect that is why it's being done. That is my view. But it's only my opinion. I have absolutely no evidence other than the fact that the Americans expressed a tremendous amount of interest in that particular area and wanted to get information on why the police were killing these people, why they were not given due process, and so on and so forth. I don't know. I wasn't there, you know, but certainly these are matters that need to be looked into, and the United States should express that to us, if that is in fact the case.
Mr. Bousquet believes such a development will facilitate a government investigation, which will in turn enable the police to legally establish that the fatal shootings were not carried out, according to him, with any ulterior motives. For the DBS News World, Pete Ninval reporting.
There you go, folks. DBS News World. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, my people, my people, my people. All right, so let's take a break, and we'll open the lines with your calls at 929-586-1821. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
They stream the tears and the cheers so clear. From the church to the pitch, they're always near. Tie the knot or score the goal, my friend. GVD TV's got you till the end. They stream the highs, they stream the lows, from wedding vows to final shows, through life's twists and the path it bends. GVD's there, it never ends.
All right, folks, and we are right back. You're watching Caribbean American News Media Platform. We are live on GVD TV channel 115 and also Facebook and our YouTube channel. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform. Caller, you're on the air.
Good evening, Garfield.
Good evening, man.
And all your viewers. I want to say that you're doing a good job reminding solutions and allowing solutions to recognize what has been done to them. But I want to speak specifically to the very first clip you played on the Richard Frederick and the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, speaking on the matter of Richard Frederick. Now, Garfield, I have been very, very careful, and no one can ever claim hearing me use the name Richard Frederick on air or the name Philip J. Pierre. I may say the Prime Minister or a certain minister, but not them. I have been very careful. I have my own personal reasons for that. But sometimes I have to put myself behind and put the country and the people of St. Lucia first. Garfield, this clip that you played was recorded, I believe, yesterday. It wasn't 2021. It wasn't 2023. It wasn't even 2020. Well, let's even say while the UWP was in power. It wasn't even 2019. It was just Monday. And if you clear, I want people to listen carefully, and I want you to elaborate afterwards. The Prime Minister, I think I heard him say that this is the same Richard Frederick. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he said the leadership did nothing. Am I correct? He said he's saying that the leadership did nothing.
Yes, he did.
Now, this is yesterday. Okay? This is yesterday. Who was the leadership when Richard Frederick was in the cabinet of the United Workers' Party?
I believe it was Stevenson
The leadership.
King.
Stevenson King was the Prime Minister. Richard Frederick was an MP. That means an elected candidate, an elected member of parliament, an elected minister. Alan Shastney was a senator. That means he can't even sit in cabinet meetings because he was a senator. He had no power. While in the UWP, he had no power. He was just a senator. Stevenson King was the Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister is saying just yesterday that the leadership did nothing with the same, and Richard Frederick is the same. And by the same, it means that it was the St. Lucia Labour Party, of which Mr. Pierre was an elected parliamentarian. Even if Kenny Anthony was the Prime Minister, he was an elected parliamentarian. And his government, his party, called Richard Frederick, I believe, accused him of fraud and drug dealing and all of that, called him a criminal. It was them who informed St. Lucians that the minister was a criminal. It was them who destroyed his reputation and his character and got his visa revoked. It had nothing to do with the United Workers' Party or their supporters, far less Alan Shastney. Okay? We are talking about yesterday. So the Prime Minister is saying this is the same Richard Frederick that we, the SLP, labeled as bad. And we ask the United Workers' Party to get rid of, but their leadership did nothing. Their leadership, Stevenson King. Okay? When Alan Shastney was still in opposition, but he became the leader, political leader of the United Workers' Party. He wasn't the Prime Minister. He wasn't in government. He fired Richard Frederick. He fired him. They must understand he was not a Prime Minister. He was not in government. He fired Richard Frederick as political leader. He did the right thing, and he's paying to this day by his reputation being slandered every second in the house, on the street, everywhere, because of that action of integrity that he took. The integrity that our Prime Minister is calling for, saying that the United Workers' Party did not do. Why did the Prime Minister not say that Stevenson King did nothing about it? He's only speaking yesterday. Isn't Stevenson King in his cabinet? Isn't Richard Frederick in his cabinet? Why didn't he say, if he has to not be disingenuous, if he is not being disingenuous, if he is not trying to mama guy, if he's not showing that he's clutching at straws, if he wants to show that integrity. My mother always said, if you have nothing to say, good to say, shut it. Hush. Why would you speak about something where the Prime Minister that was then in this time is in your cabinet? Why didn't you go and ask Stevenson King, why didn't you fire him and tell St. Lucia? Why didn't you say Richard Frederick is the same Richard Frederick? Why didn't you say, well, we had said Richard was no good, I don't want him in my cabinet? You have them both in your cabinet, but today you want St. Lucians to believe by saying the leadership didn't do anything, to put another falseness at the feet of Alan Shastney. It won't work. Alan Shastney has too much integrity. None of those falseness and those crazy cases that you're taking, that you and your party caused and Stevenson King created, you cannot pass it off on Alan Shastney.
Nope.
Alan Shastney is tall and has too much integrity. It will not happen. And that is why I think, Garfield, we need to put this down in chronological order to show it and explain to St. Lucians the deceitfulness, the shame, because this was only yesterday. And the two gentlemen are in the cabinet, regardless of a gentleman wearing blue. Nobody has seen the blue executive of that party. You don't see them holding meetings or anything. And you're still not hearing they're going to put them up, put them people against them. This whole bluffing is not going to fool St. Lucians again. It is time the people, if you're going to speak plain. I can understand. I have no problems with I like politics. You hold your side, I hold my side, we debate on facts. But please stop the misinformation, stop the being disingenuous. Speak the truth and say it as it is. Ask Stevenson King why he didn't fire Richard, and right now you should apologize to Richard since you have him in your cabinet. Say we were wrong, and then St. Lucians will understand. Thank you, Garfield. Good night.
Thank you so much, caller. All right. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Fletcher. There, folks, the lines are open. I am looking forward to your calls, but I believe that there was another shooting incident in Castries, Walton's Yard, leaving one dead and another injured. And I believe that the injured one is at one of the local hospitals in St. Lucia. We continue to pray for the nation of St. Lucia. Let's take this call. Caribbean American News Media Platform, caller, you on the air.
Yes, Brother Garfield, I just want to ask a question. In fact, three questions. One, when the police commissioner went on vacation, are you aware that there is an official statement made that he's going on vacation, and for how long that he's going on vacation? And was there a statement saying that who is going to replace him, who is in charge of the force now? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. So we have a question. So we have a question there from one of our callers. The Commissioner of Police went on leave immediately after announcing or surprising St. Lucians with the news that evidence had disappeared from the police on very important cases in the country. An announcement of who is sitting in or acting on his behalf, I do not believe that I saw any sort of news on that. So you guys will have to, of course, keep me updated on that. But I do not believe that there was an announcement of anyone standing in. So the question is, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Minister of National Security, who is the acting Commissioner of Police? Who is the acting Commissioner of Police? And the other question is, the canine dog, Tyson, question, did the French authorities offer St. Lucia a dog? And the question now is, what was your response to the French authorities? Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Well, good evening.
Good
How are
evening, my
you?
friend. Great, thank you. What's on your mind?
Good evening to everyone on your platform. But Garfield, simple. We've had a spate of murders in St. Lucia. We have reached we've reached a number that we've touched a number that we've never touched in the lifetime of St. Lucia. I don't think we can go any higher, although I see we going higher. It looks like this month is going to outdo the month of July, which had the highest murder rate ever in St. Lucia on record. We've seen the murder of Tyson, the police canine or the police dog. We have seen one of the first things that Philip J. Pierre did when he came into office was to remove the canine or the dogs, the police dogs that we had guarding the ports of Castries and left the ports open for 2 years. Now I wanted to link those two just for a moment, so bear with me. I want to link what's happening now to leaving the ports open. I think it's obvious to all of us St. Lucians that if our ports are open and not guarded and not manned, that we cannot stop the flow of illegal drugs, arms, guns, etc. into this country. We had Philip J. Pierre remove the canine unit for at least 2 years in St. Lucia, and he left our ports open. And I say him because he is our national security minister. He's fully responsible for this. Today we see arms on the street that we've never seen in our lifetimes before. Maybe guns that the police don't even have for their own personal, also for their own work use, professional use. But we see them on the streets. Mm-hmm. We see them shooting and killing lots and lots of people, young men, grandmothers, fathers, grandfathers, young mothers, unborn children, 7 months old, fully developed. We've seen a number of people dead as a result. We saw Philip J. Pierre also create a portfolio for Jeremiah Norbert as a crime prevention minister, a portfolio we've never heard of in our lifetimes before, our lifetime. However, this was creating a bigger salary scale, bigger expense for, of course, the taxpayers' purse, I say, because it's the taxpayers' money paying all of these salaries. We've seen a new commissioner being brought in, Vanguard. I asked the question, is this the same Vanguard who was guarding the prisons when we had some sort of something happen at the prisons and Vanguard just out of the blue disappeared? And another prison superintendent was brought in to man the prisons. However, under Philip J. Pierre's watch, we realized that Vanguard has been made commissioner of police from out of the blue. I ask why. Is this something that Vanguard did differently? Apparently, he could not man the prisons differently, but it seemed like there was something he did that he could have come and handled the entire police force. So he was given that position. I ask, why was a position created for Jeremiah Norbert? And the position is called crime prevention, when we have not seen Jeremiah Norbert or his office, quote unquote, prevent one crime in St. Lucia. I also ask why, and I'm going to ask why, and please, Philip J. Pierre, do not tell us that the K9 was too expensive, because we, as St. Lucian people, know fully well that the K9 afforded to pay for themselves. So it was not, the money was not coming from the St. Lucia purse. We've also seen another K9 that was brought in, given to Philip J. Pierre, to St. Lucia by the French authorities. We've also seen that dog murdered under the watch of Philip J. Pierre, Vanguard, and our crime prevention officer. At this moment that we have so many bodies on the street, the castries, every single day, bullets are being heard, guns are being fired, people are being killed, bodies are dropping, blood is flowing all over castries. I ask, why have we St. Lucians not called? Because I am calling on behalf of the St. Lucian people for the resignation of the Prime Minister, well, I should say the National Security Minister, the resignation of the Commissioner of Police, Vanguard, who has taken off since we've had, I even forgot this one, since we had evidence walk out of an evidence room in two very high-profile cases in St. Lucia and murder cases again. The murder of a K9, the murder of lots of people, lots of bodies in St. Lucia. I ask for his resignation. He's on holiday, he's taken off, happily gone on vacation while all of this chaos is going on. And I ask for the resignation of Jeremiah Norbert, the crime prevention minister, who has not prevented one crime in St. Lucia. And we're not asking for this for the resignations tomorrow. We're asking for them immediately. Further to that, we have not heard a word from Jeremiah Norbert about all the crimes that are happening. We've not heard a word from Vanguard prior to him letting out that evidence went walking out of the evidence room and that the K9 was murdered. They were investigating or whatever they were doing. And as for Philip J. Pierre, the so-called Prime Minister of St. Lucia, and the so-called national what? National what is he again?
Crime prevention.
No, Philip J. Pierre is the national what?
Philip J. Pierre is the national
we
security.
Thank you, Brother Garfield, the National Security Minister. I wanted you to say it because I don't think I'm crazy.
Oh, you wanted me to say
We
it?
have not heard a word from any of these men who are being paid salaries on a monthly basis, plus the perks that they receive to take care of the business of this country in the way of crime and security, etc. Crime prevention and security for the nation. We've not heard a word from these guys, and they get paid a salary every single month, plus their perks. We are now calling for them to resign immediately. Not tomorrow morning, immediately. We also may have to look for outside intervention. In fact, this is not a may. We will have to sort outside intervention to come in and take a very close look at exactly what is going on in our police department and what is going on with the organized crime that we have in St. Lucia. We heard it all before out of a so-called impact report. We heard it all before. We need outside to seek outside intervention to come in and take a very good look at St. Lucia and comb St. Lucia with a fine-tooth comb and take out, remove all the undesirables from our society and place them where they are supposed to be. Clean up St. Lucia so that we can make St. Lucia a wholesome place for the civilians, for the nationals, for the St. Lucian people, grandmother, grandfather, man, woman, child, to be able to walk safely in their communities without looking over their shoulders and being so afraid as they are. We need to get our streets cleaned up, and we need to get our streets back the way they were, and even to a better condition than it was prior to Philip J. Pierre's administration.
Thank you. Yep.
We need to go back. We need to go back. We cannot.
Absolutely right. We need a reset. Thank you, my friend.
We need a reset. Thank you, Brother Garfield.
So
have a good night.
You too. Thanks for calling. All right, that was one of our callers. Let me just play a clip that I'm going to pull through here on the system.
And they said that I was arrogant, mainly because I could have seen through their foolishness, their untruths, that I could have seen through them, and I was unafraid to say what I saw. And this Labour Party is now learning what I had learned 10, 15 years ago. And really, sometimes I sit back and find it so remarkable that the experiences that I had shared in those years have now come to haunt the politics of our times. And they said that I was arrogant, mainly because I could have seen through their foolishness.
That's right. That is Kennedy Anthony.
Lacobinier, as Attorney General, went to the embassy not realizing that at some point the statement will be released, said that I was using St. Lucia as a transshipment point for drugs from Colombia to distribute throughout the region. Lacobinier, as Attorney General, went to the embassy not realizing that at some point the statement will be released, said that I was using St. Lucia as a transshipment point for drugs from Colombia to distribute throughout the region. Lacobinier, as Attorney General, went to the...
Sorry, folks, I didn't want to get that thing stuck up, but I am getting the feeling that Mr. Ronald Phillip is acting right now in the commissioner's chair, and I would say that this is not right. This is not the right thing to do, Mr. National Security Minister, Mr. Police Force, because the gentleman has some stuff that is still pending that need to be dealt with. And I'm not sure, I heard someone say that St. Lucia has become a banana republic without bananas. Well, I don't know what this is, but this is funny stuff that you have a police commissioner or a police officer on the investigations. Some of the charges, some of the questions surrounding him was dismissed, I believe, and there are still some pending. And this man is sitting in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force as the ones standing in for the police commissioner, Mr. Van Guard. So I really don't know what to say to you, my people. But based on a text that I got, someone is saying that Mr. Van Guard has a good security plan, a good plan to deal with the crime in the country. And I would encourage him to speak about that plan in public, share it. Some of them, I know not all information you can give. Some of them, of course, would be a matter of internal intelligence. But whatever you can share with the people of St. Lucia, I think you should. And we look forward to, and if Van Guard can help with the crime situation in the country, kudos to him. But for now, Mr. Guard, you have a problem, and that is missing evidence under your watch or under whoever watch it is. Right now, the police force is under you, and you got to come a little cleaner when it comes to the missing evidence from your vote, if you have one, of course. But folks, I want to remind you of this event. That is Benson Emil will be here in New York, and you are invited to come in and enjoy. All right? There is another one. I thought I played it earlier, but it is not on set as yet. Let's see if we can pull it in to our system. Just bear with us, folks. We're going to close now. Let me just see if I can find it. One of those earlier clips. I believe it's coming through. Yes, it is coming through the set. Let's go to Mr. Kakal.
Admit all what you see in is fuckery. Why you done your this? Who done your this? What they can do? What they do?
Man, I'm proud of where I'm from.
Sure. To all my poor people out there, just be strong. Continue struggling and keep holding on. Giving up is not the solution. Listen, so even though the cost of living gets so high and things get tough, not giving up. Giving up is not the solution.
Stop coming and come. Stop coming and come. Stop coming and come. You taking too long to come.
Like a promise from.
All right, so Kakal will be in Brooklyn, and we're hoping that tonight should have been a promotion night. Kakal, we had planned for him to be here, Natty Conqueror and some of them on set tonight. So we have pushed it back for another date. So we look forward to having Kakal and, the other entertainers on the platform promoting that show in Denver, or in New York, in Brooklyn, sorry. So, folks, it is what it is. All right, so let me just make a correction here. No public servants reports to any minister. So the commissioner is a public servant, and therefore he reports to the PS in that ministry. Okay? But there need to be some changes to the constitution of the country to allow the police commissioner to be part. I don't know if that's going to be a conflict anyway, but I just thought that you know, there need to be a greater closeness of the commissioner and the Minister of National Security, but it seems like it goes through the PS in that ministry to the Prime Minister. But we need to get that fixed so that we can deal with the rising crime in the nation. We need to deal with the rising crime in the nation. Somebody says that the commissioner does not report to the PS. So there's my two devices saying two different things. So we'll clarify that and we'll put out a statement. But I don't know which one to lean on, but one of my sources is saying that the commissioner does not report to any minister, and the other one is saying the commissioner does not report to the PS. So that one we can make some correction on. But I don't know who is reporting to RF, but he said a lot concerning his relationship with the police there in St. Lucia. And we saw on one of his show him ordering around the police and everything, saying, do this, do that, and you got to do this. I'm giving you orders. And I'm not sure how appropriate that is, and whether that's something that you would want a minister of government to be doing in public, shouting orders to the police. That might be some conflict. There might be some conflict there, but we got to bring back normal order, and to bring back the normal order is to get some of these guys permanently out. All right. Somebody else is saying here, the Commissioner of Police only reports to the Prime Minister. Let's take a call. Our final call. Caller, you on the air, Caribbean American News Media Platform.
Good evening, Brother Garfield, and good evening to your listeners and viewers.
Good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, just a correction. The Commissioner of Police only reports to the Prime Minister.
And that's a fact?
That's a fact. Any Commissioner of Police, he or she, is only answerable to the Prime Minister of the day. No one else. Hence the reason why, I don't know if it's on a weekly basis or monthly basis, that commissioner sits down with the Prime Minister and gives that Prime Minister a briefing as to national security issues.
Should, right? That's what should happen.
Yes.
But every time you ask the Prime Minister about a matter concerning the police, he don't know. He said, no, he don't know.
And it passes strange that the Prime Minister will indicate that yesterday that the Commissioner of Police was not briefed by the Commissioner of Police insofar as the missing evidence. I find that passing strange because a sensitive issue like that, where you had critical evidence in the Shakadan Daniel case, you had critical evidence in the Kimberly De Leon case. It went missing under the control and security of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And the Prime Minister is telling the St. Lucia and the world that the Commissioner of Police did not brief him until he was about to proceed on vacation. That's kind of strange to me. That's that's unbelievable to me. I think it should be, as you know, what should obtain is weekly briefing, and the Commissioner of Police is only answerable to the Prime Minister.
To the Prime Minister.
But this is what passes for justice in St. Lucia. You know, heritage that you had Miss Mary, Kimberly De Leon's mother. This lady has been relentless. She has been persistent at getting justice for her daughter. And now to be told that when she thought she would get justice for her daughter, critical evidence went missing under the care of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. How that could be, Brother Garfield? How we could tolerate this?
Let me ask you a question, Ian. Do you know the Government of St. Lucia chain of command, organizational chart?
Yes. So here it is. With my information, my knowledge, and if I'm wrong, I'm always subject to correction.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the head of state, which is the Governor General, who is a figure representing the king. Then you have the Prime Minister. Then you have the leader of the opposition. You understand? And I think under the leader of the opposition, if my memory serves me right, and I could be corrected again, you should have the chief justice. That's the hierarchy of the government structure in St. Lucia. And if I'm wrong, I'm always open to correction.
Okay.
But that's how I understand it.
So we'll gather some information on the protocols of government, and maybe we can post it for the citizens.
Right. But what I can safely tell you, which I know, the commissioner of police is only answerable to the prime minister, no one else. This is the time to okay, so that's what I know for a fact. No government minister, only the prime minister. He's answerable. He or she is answerable to. But it's just a sad state of affair where people no longer feel safe in the country, but I can feel where St. Lucia is lawless. There's no direction. It seems like the country is on autopilot. There's no government. As you can see, we have a government, but there's no government, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And then with all those things happening at the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, you have Tyson, the K9, mysteriously got killed or died. Reports from this one and that one. It's all over a month. Nothing, no resolution at the end of the day. So we just speculated as to the cause of death of Tyson, the K9, which was a dog that was vital in the crime fighting effort. When this government came in, they disbanded the K9 unit for almost 2 years. And you see this proliferation of guns and ammunition coming into the country. And hence the reason why we have all those gun violence we see happening in St. Lucia. And who is to be blamed? Only the Philippine-led administration are the ones to be blamed, wholly and solely. Because if they had kept and maintained the K9 unit, possibly we would not have this proliferation of guns and ammunition coming into the country. But no, they chose to disband the K9 unit. They said $40,000 was too expensive, too much money to spend. But I believe $40,000 for a K9 unit a month, it's worth that so that you can save lives and property in St. Lucia. But this government, it seems to me that they don't care about life and property. That's how I see it. And so people in the country now, St. Lucians, are fearful for their lives. They don't feel safe in the country anymore. And it's a sad state of affairs. But we have to do something, Brother Garfield. We cannot just leave it to chance. We as right-thinking St. Lucians must do something. We must act. And the only way we can act is when the Prime Minister has the courage to call the election. We must go en masse. The mobilization must start now. And I want to encourage St. Lucians to come out on Sunday, August the 17th, this coming Sunday, and give the United Workers' Party a resounding support. Come out in your large numbers. Head down to the William Peter Boulevard and show your strength. This is the only way this government will take St. Lucia seriously. Have a blessed night, Brother Garfield.
Thank you so much for that call. All right, so that was our last call. But concerning the chains of command and protocols of government, I think it's something we need to educate our people on. So we'll have a program where we just go through the different positions of government. Caller, you're on the air. I'll take you as the final call. How are you?
Garfield.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Tell Ian, he doesn't even know what is the chain of command for the government of St. Lucia. How could the Chief Justice fall under the leader of the opposition? The Chief Justice is on the same level with the Prime Minister. And let's make that abundantly clear. No public servant report to any minister.
That's
not
what
even the cabinet secretary.
That's what it's supposed to be, right? That's what it's supposed to be.
That's correct.
All right. Okay.
Permanent secretaries report to the parliament.
So the commissioner, yeah. So the
commissioner reports to his boss. His boss is the permanent secretary.
And he don't report to the prime minister. The Minister of Justice.
No, he does not.
Are you sure about that,
chief
caller?
Of police.
Are you sure?
Listen carefully. The chief of police can tell the prime minister, sir, you want to have a meeting with me? Please go through the PS. and the Prime Minister can say nothing.
Mm-hmm. And we know he's appointed by the Governor General based on advice from the Prime Minister. Is that true?
He's appointed by the Public Service Commission.
Or
the Police Service Commission, whichever. That's who appoints him.
Okay. Okay.
Then, if the Prime Minister agrees, the Prime Minister signs off under it. Then he goes to the Governor General to get sworn in by the Cabinet Secretary. In the present, the Cabinet Secretary is who swearing people, you know. It's not the Governor General. The Governor General is just as a witness.
Also the Cabinet Secretary.
Without a Cabinet Secretary, you cannot sign. You cannot sign in any minister or any Auditor General. These are the things we have to know before we start talking loosely.
Well, I don't think they're talking loosely. People are asking questions.
Not you.
Yeah, I know. But
people are calling me there.
Yeah, well, people are letting us. I mean, that's what they know. So therefore, if that's not the case, then we are to clarify and to get the right information to the people. But people need to know understand how the government function, the different protocols of government. I think we need to spend some time looking at that.
Well, that's what they need to do instead of just blind.
Yeah.
Educate yourself first, and then come and make your comment.
But as a teacher, you don't shout down people when they're wrong or accuse them. You just present your facts and in correction to them. That's how we teach each other.
Whilst I may agree with you, but when people speak with certain amount of authority, the only thing you could do is to run them down.
But you are
because they're totally wrong.
You are speaking on some form of authority.
But that's the point. I am telling you, and I could send you where to get that information. When I heard him say a while ago, the Chief Justice falls under the leader of the opposition, the St. Lucia have 3 branches of government, 3 branches: executive, legislative, and the judiciary.
Right.
Who has the judiciary? Not the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice.
So the Chief Justice has to be on the same level with these other 2, whoever has the how you call it, the legislative, and whoever has the executive.
My friend, you know that there are a lot of people who are disagreeing with you, and you speaking from a point of authority.
All they could do is write you and disagree. I want them to go and study it on maize.
And by the way, Ian said he was subject to correction anyway. So
that's true too.
Yeah,
the way he said it, as if he knew exactly what he's talking about.
No, he said he's subject to correction.
He didn't say I think He didn't say no. But he didn't say I think He didn't say I think that's how we go. He said I think that is what it is. I learn it. I know it. That's what he said. And then when you realize that, then you say, "Oh, I can be corrected." Well, I'm correcting him now. The Chief Justice does not fall under the leader of the opposition. We have 3 branches of government, and each of them have their head, and that's a fact.
Okay.
And no public servant, and remember that part. No public servant report to any minister in the entire Commonwealth. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. All right. So that was, I suspect, an SOP caller who is trying to make some corrections there, but I'm getting a lot of different feedback. I just got a copy of the protocols of government. I will go through it. I have the executive. We have executive authority that's under the Constitution of St. Lucia. We have Minister of Government, Cabinet of Ministers, allocation of portfolios to ministers. So, we got to go there, friends. It's okay for us to sometimes slow down and get some clarity on how government function, and it's important. It's a good. I think it's a good exercise for us to get to understand how government function. The constitutional authority in the country. I just think it's wise. I like to know those things also. It's one thing to be a citizen of a country, but it's another thing to understand how the country functions. Yeah, right. So we will look at it. For instance, the executive authority of St. Lucia is vested in Her Majesty. In this case, the King. All right? So you have the ministers of government. There shall be a prime minister of St. Lucia who shall be appointed by the governor general. So let's do that again. There shall be a prime minister of St. Lucia who shall be appointed by the prime minister. All right, so I will post this on the platform piece by piece so that we can understand the different rules, so that sometimes we will not accuse prime ministers and opposition leaders and police commissioners falsely. At least we know the chains, the protocol chain, so we know where the buck stops. We know who is responsible for what. And I think that's a shift that we'll have to make in these elections. We have to inform you going into the elections, you know, because there are a lot of people who should be blamed in our government system who are not getting the blame. There's a whole lot of people who are in the government system and they're messing up a lot. And sometimes ministers of government, prime ministers, because, you know, the buck stops with them, of course, because they are the minister, you know, but they're permanent secretaries and there are other lower ranking officers within these ministries, you know, so there's a whole wheel. So when sometimes we say government is corrupt, when you say government is corrupt, people look at the politicians, but nobody look at the PS and the secretaries and the other lower ranking positions within those ministries that sometimes are causing chaos. But yes, of course, there's a supervisor, there's one who the buck stops with. And of course, we put all the sins on government ministers and we say the politicians are corrupt. But the politicians, I suspect, can go as far as they can go, as far as the PS and the different staff would allow them to go sometimes. Yeah, can we say that, folks? So we're going to look at it. So blessings to blessings to all. Let me just look at one more thing here. I like where the program ended up. A whole lot of people. You can text me, you know, folks. Some people have been texting me on 929-586-1821 all night. So I've been back and forth there with information. Somebody says, and he did not say the Chief Justice was under the leader of the opposition. He said after the leader of the opposition, he thinks it is the Chief Justice. All right, let me see somebody else here. But Gaffy, thank you for... Okay. All right, so I'm not going to read that one. Okay, so folks, let me go over to the... no, not the YouTube. Let's go over to Facebook for a minute. Is the teacher needs some emotional intelligence while he attempts to clarify government. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can't be aggressive when you're trying to correct people. You know, you got to take it easy. If you think that they're wrong, then you say, look, I believe that you're wrong. Here is the answer. Or I believe this is what it is. Here's the evidence. But you don't just attack. Sometimes we attack each other unnecessarily, you know, in trying to communicate with each other or make corrections. Now, we know we have a lot of corrections to make with the Labour Party and what they did to Alan Chastney. A whole lot of correction and clarity. We need to, you know, on this show, we will be doing it one day at a time. All right? A whole lot of misinformation, you know. The Chief Justice is under the Chief Justice is under the leader of the opposition. Bailey, when you lie, you stay away for a while, so stop your crap. Did I read that? The PM says he was briefed by the commissioner. Boo boo. Okay. Folks, I want you to have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. And guess what? May God continue to bless you. Now we have our music from Denry. I hope this is what it is. Denry.
Good night, Pastor Garvey.
No, that's not it. Gotta be careful here. I think this is it.
This world, we all living life in fear. Oh yeah. The kids today behaving like they don't care.
Now I heard that this song is from Fireman from Denry.
Kids today behaving like they don't care.
Enjoy, folks. Nice having you.
You can walk the streets without looking back. Oh yeah.
attack you. All they know is violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Don't care who is right or wrong. Don't care who is weak or strong. Violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. Hey, Pampio. Check out the kids in this year's society. Oh yeah. They seem to have no purpose nor direction. When you check out the kids in this year's society. Oh yeah. They seem to have no purpose nor direction. They don't have respect for the elderly. Oh yeah. Not even for their mommy nor their daddy. Gone are the days when they used to respect you. Oh yeah. Now they walk right by, don't even want to greet you. All they know is violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Don't care who is right or wrong. Don't care who is weak or strong. Violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence. Whoa, whoa, this violence must come to an end. When grannies and teen neighbors used to see about we must try to get back to the good old days. Oh, yeah. When grannies and teen neighbors used to see about Now is the time to stop this calamity. Oh, yeah. The time has come to solve this situation. We don't need no more of this destruction. Oh, yeah. What we need is peace, love and togetherness. No more of this violence, violence. We got to stop all this violence.